What?
Hi.
It's off sync. Talk again.
Hello?
Talk again.
Hello?
Okay, now it's better.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. It was delayed.
Okay, but you're downstairs, so.
That's probably why it was delayed.
Oh. Hi, husband.
Oh, that's what you're gonna call me.
Well, that's what you are.
Nah, it's still delayed.
George, help us. Come fix our Wi-Fi. We're in the same house.
All right, now it's working better. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Oh, we got 18 people already. This is so much fun. That many people want to hear all about the wedding, and it dropped to 16. So
You can't. You can never tell. Like you only tell when people come in, but you don't know when they leave.
yeah, I think because like, you know how when you're scrolling through Instagram and then accidentally you hit that you go into somebody's live? I think it does that a lot too.
Oh yeah, I do that. Like I'm in. I'll go in for somebody's live for like 2 seconds and then leave, and
Yeah.
they.
It's like, oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. Just kidding. So thank you guys who have joined us thus far. So we've been meaning to do this because the wedding was like, what, 5 weeks ago?
We might have to do another one after the videos come out.
That's right. We should be getting those pretty soon. But it's funny because everyone was like, how did you come up with this theme? Like, how did you got, like, who thought
What
of
do you
it? And
what do you mean you guys? Huh? What do you mean you guys? Come on, I'm waiting.
we thought of it together.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
My phone is okay. Well, then if
I'm
you
pretty
did, then
sure,
I'm listening.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that I am the one who had to tell all our vendors that they had to marry Marvel, Disney, Jurassic Park, uh, what else? All together, and the job. But when it comes to the script of the wedding, you handled all
Yeah.
of that, my love.
Yeah. Um, that's true. Like the whole like when people think of like how did this all happen? Like most of it, not all of it, because you came up with the drag queens.
So basically, with the whole theme of the wedding being abnormal compared to what normal people deal with, there was a lot that went into the planning of this. And Charlie basically, I watched him one night. He was at his laptop for like 3 hours where he wrote the entire script for what would happen. So nobody knew except
What was going to happen?
No, all the vendors knew.
Yeah, in the ceremony. All the vendors knew because otherwise, if chaos ensued, then they probably would have stopped filming or taking photos, and we didn't need them to stop filming or taking photos. So we clued them all in, and then only Don knew what was going to happen.
But I don't think Don didn't know everything.
No,
not
no,
even
no.
Don. Only people knew what they needed to know.
Yeah.
And no, but there was things that Don didn't know that happened beforehand, like the music.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one knew. I didn't even know all the music because I didn't know your music.
Right. You weren't allowed.
Yeah.
But
Like of course the part that people needed to know, they knew.
which is what?
Well, the night before we gave everybody the ending
Mm-hmm.
because even they wouldn't have done it. All right, so we have to go back where this is like multiple years ago, and I'm going to do something that I don't often do. So I'm just going to use her first name, and you'll know who I'm talking about. So I'm over her house treating, and this is way before we got engaged, which is way before, like a long time ago.
What's her name?
Scarlett.
Oh, yeah.
And I was telling her that because we both share Disney quite a bit, that if there's a way to do it at Disney, because at that time I didn't even know.
Oh, your proposal.
Yeah. And she's like, well, you're going to do a Disney wedding, which of course we tried, sort of.
Yeah.
And that was an absolute mess, because people that get married at Disney either need to get married in like 24 hours, or they just want to say they did it at Disney. Like, there's very little.
Like, they're so obsessed with the castle, because you can get married in front of the castle for $50,000 alone. Just to go in front of the castle.
But like, you could just put like a green screen. Like you can. There's very.
We brought Jurassic Park.
Well, there's not like you can't. You're just doing a wedding at Disney. It's not like Disney themed.
Do you remember I called Universal?
Oh, Jesus.
So I called Universal. I don't know anything about Universal, and I'm like, "Do you guys do weddings in Jurassic Park?" she was like, "Ma'am, no, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about."
And you probably called like the ticket line or something.
I don't know. I was trying to make something cool happen.
All right.
So anyway, so you're talking to Scarlett.
Yeah, and I gave her like a lot of the ideas that now turned in, multiple iterations later.
Yeah.
So in terms of like, she's like, that'll stuff will work, but as this is an expert in acting and getting people to believe things that are happening, and just so people know, I think a lot of people know, like, when you get to be a big time actor, like whether you see them in TV or movies, they're like, they know it, they know how to sing. They can all do like stand-up comedy to a degree. They're all on Broadway. Like, they know more than just what you see them as, and they're like, it's not as simple as you make it. So, for instance, if you're trying to fool everybody, you better make sure that if they are going to be interactive in this thing, meaning they're not going to be scared or run away or walk out. Like, there has to be things that have to happen. So, for instance, that was the whole, like, you have to tell everybody only what they need to know, because they'll screw it up.
Yes.
So at the end, when we walked out to the Lego song, like, the night before, during the rehearsal, we practiced that, because when we wanted everyone to clap together, because that song is like very easy to clap to. It's not hard to find the rhythm. At the end, and some of the videos came out where between Don and I, we said, like, everybody please stand up and put their arms over their head. So everybody knew that was going to happen, because everybody up front did it.
Yes. So
now what Scarlett was explaining is, like, if you want them to clap, and if it's just the people up front, they're not going to clap. Which I totally agree. It's like when you're doing a seminar and you're like, everyone
stand up.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions?
No.
It's like, they never ask questions. Like, you have to like goad them. You have to like get them to think that this is something important.
Yeah.
So you you tell everybody to stand up and put their arms over their head, and then when they see all the wedding party clapping with their arms over their head, they will clap too.
Yes.
Which is what we wanted as everybody walked out. So that was something.
That was your idea.
That was something that everybody knew.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a pretty happy song. Like, this song's I don't even know what the name of it is, but like, this song's gonna get stuck inside your head, which is like in the middle of Lego Movie 2. When they were trying to brainwash, what's her name? Not Emmett.
Nadia and Brad.
Wild Style.
You guys can pick up ideas if you're gonna script your ceremony like Charlie did.
Well, if you're gonna do this, you have to do it to stuff that you like are really into.
Yeah.
Like,
do like for like stuff that you guys are into.
Yeah, like you can't
know we're into this. They know with us that it would be like not serious. Like, the only serious part was me walking down the aisle.
It's not Lucy. It was Wild Style. Wild Style was the name of the character.
I have no idea.
It was Batman's girlfriend, and then became But anyway, so yeah, for people that like what you're saying to do this, like, you have to be into the topics.
Yeah.
Like
A
it's
lot
like,
of golf for Brad.
so, luckily the stuff that we're into has this juvenile emotion to it, so it's good. But yeah, the only thing that I think everybody knew was the end. Everything else, not one person knew everything except me.
Right. And so, like, some of the stuff that we did different, I think I made a post about this. Like, I've never been into flowers. My mom didn't like flowers. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to like flowers either. So instead of, flowers are so expensive too. Oh my God, are they expensive? Like, for something that dies. So I was like, all right, I want my bridesmaids to carry stuffed gorillas because you guys all know I'm all about the gorillas. So we had a florist because my planner convinced me to have some sort of floral in the form of like Jurassic Park, like ferns and stuff. So she was like putting little roses on the gorillas, and they looked really cute. There's photos of them. They looked really cute. But they got to take home a stuffed gorilla versus flowers that would die. So then our flower girls, instead of spewing flowers, had gorilla confetti, which was super cute. And that's like almost like the best. So that was cute. And then we had my bridesmaids dance down the aisle. Your mom absolutely killed it to Lady Marmalade. Voulez-vous coucher? And she's like, I'm doing my Zumba moves.
For instance, I did not know the song, and I didn't know that they were all going to dance.
Yeah, because that's how
I figured that they were, who came out first? Megan?
I don't remember. Megan or Heidi.
Yeah, I realized they were gonna, okay, you're all gonna dance.
Yeah, but then did you know your mom would like, I hear this roar of like clapping and like everyone cheering before you come out, and I was like, what's going on? It's your mom dancing down the aisle.
And she took forever. Like she did it. Like she knew,
cute.
She knew what she was doing.
Oh yeah, everybody loved it. And then I came out with Cosgrove and your dad. And your dad was actually very well behaved.
This is
he didn't
surprise.
Make any spaces.
Very big surprise.
And you and your dad both had Kevin Durant Nikes on.
Yes.
I had Nike Dunks that had like a 3/4-inch heel in them, super comfortable, that were like blinged out with Swarovski, bright pink Swarovski crystals. I can't say it fast. So that was like the serious part. So then we had planned that I get down the aisle and Charlie and I are holding hands, and then we were like, let's pretend we forgot to hire an officiant. So there's nobody at the microphone, and we're standing there, and we're looking at each other, and we're like, I thought you did. Yeah. And then he pretended to get in a fight with our wedding planner, Travis.
Who was that? Well, anybody that, like, there was several people from the wedding planners. They were all really good. Like,
yeah.
It was, I think it came from one of my clients, who was a fairly well-known wedding planner in New York City, and this was one of her colleagues, and she got out of it, and they were just awesome. Like, I think people think that it's a lot of money, and obviously everybody's gonna, we're not gonna talk about money, for what, but if you that is like,
that was worth everything.
Yeah,
hiring a planner. Oh my God, especially if you have a job and have zero interest in trying to learn about this.
I think what I'm trying to say is, like, don't save money because of the planner.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
yeah.
That's
that was worth everything. So you guys got in a fight, and and everyone's filming at this point. And so I'm like, come on, and you're like, come on.
So Scarlett this is where she advised me again as well. So this is like all this man behind the curtain stuff that actors know how to do, because I mean, people really believed that I was pissed off. I think Rachel Cosgrove said, like, oh my God, Charlie, like, don't be Charlie. So
I was afraid someone's going to restrain you.
So because of what was going to happen, in terms of Don coming out of the wedding party line to become the officiant, he was, and I don't know why, because I kind of gave up. Like, you can't control this many things if it's only one person. He was supposed to just be dressed regular, and then take his jacket off, and then it was going to be the pink tuxedo shirt. But he wore wore the pink tuxedo shirt anyway. But
I think it's fine.
No, I'm just saying we had to do the fight a little bit in the middle of the aisle instead of right at the front, because if everyone is looking right at the front, they would see Don taking his jacket off, etc.
Yeah.
But if you did it like 10 feet down the aisle, everybody in the front several rows would have to turn backwards to look at it. And they would have zero visual line to what's going on up front.
Mm-hmm.
So that no one would see that Don was changing his clothes. So, and then so that seemed to work very, very well.
Because he was like, hey, I got this.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is like, Scarlett's like, you can't let this go too long.
Yeah, because then people would be uncomfortable.
Now, and this wasn't exactly what her and I were talking about at that time. But like, she's like, if you're gonna do something like something crazy, you can't let it go too long because people will like start to think like you just want them to be shocked. You don't want them to like, you know. I think I said to her, I said it, not her. You mean like a Michael Bay movie? And she's like, you know, where it's just explosion. It's like everything is at level 10 the whole time. So it couldn't last very long. You just want them to be shocked because then if they actually start to believe what was happening, everybody would get really, really uncomfortable. And even that did happen to some degree. Because if people thought that I was really angry and about to flip out, then
Don says, I got this. I have experience. I own a gym.
I said, experience in what? He's like, I own the gym in the city. I'm like, oh, okay.
Like he said, he pulled that out of his ass.
No, and it was, but that's the other thing. Like, even though this had this very detailed script, you know, for the DJ and for the video and for the camera, a lot of the like what people did, like with the dancing or what people said, was not scripted.
Right.
Like not at all. So that's where, again, if I'm the kind of like the puppet master here, like you want people, like if they're into it, you just want them to be themselves.
Yeah.
And the big line that I was using the day before was like, in the best characters in professional wrestling or wherever is like they're just themselves dialed up to level 11 out of 10. So if people just got to be into what they wanted to do, then it was going to be better.
Mm-hmm.
So I had no idea of what Don was going to say at any point. You gave him lines, obviously.
Yeah, we texted, you know, previously about stuff.
Yeah.
For the vows and everything. So then ceremony, and we left the processional clapping our hands, and then we had photos, and then we were doing photos with the dinosaur and the gorilla. So we had people in costumes from like Broadway that were in a very life-size dinosaur and gorilla because of dinosaurs and gorillas.
Yeah.
And
so here's the thing. When people got to the wedding, I think they already saw the dinosaur and the gorilla.
Yeah, and the Jurassic Park.
And now, yeah, like I didn't really want that to happen. Like I wanted it to be a surprise after the ceremony.
Yeah.
So because people were saying, "Oh my God, there's a dinosaur." It was fine. It's not, like that's another thing that like you can't control everything. Yeah. There's too much moving parts. This is too strange for people. Like they've never done anything like this before.
Yeah.
But then
we were taking photos with the dinosaur and gorilla, and then there's another wedding walking outside in the front with the glass windows, and they were like
yeah.
Our wedding's not that fun.
But I think someone from their wedding came inside
and took a picture.
Because
there's one
picture. Like that person took a pic. They came from they had to come from the other wedding.
Yeah. To
take a picture with the dinosaur.
And so while everyone was in cocktail hour, and then we were taking photos.
Well, the dinosaur, the gimmick to that was, if we had the wedding when it was supposed to in April, this would have been different.
Yeah.
But then we were able to get the entry to the reception had what looked very legitimate. We're supposed to be getting the letters, right? Mm-hmm. The letters of Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, yeah.
So it looked like the Jurassic Park gates that you can go to in Hawaii. Like they're not there anymore.
They did a ridiculous job on it.
So
it was amazing.
So now you're in this little waiting area. There's a dinosaur. Well, I guess if you're going to believe there's a dinosaur, well, then you can believe there's a gorilla, even though they would clearly not be in the same time periods. and then you would be entering the Jurassic Park to go to the reception, and then but whatever they're called, like where your name tells you what table to go to.
The Jurassic Park passes.
Yeah, you had a Jurassic Park visitors badge.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why there was a dinosaur, because you were going into Jurassic Park. Yeah. And then the flowers that our planner talked you into, didn't really talk you into, it just made sense.
Yeah.
The type of flowers that were in the reception was very jungle, like very tropical, like it's almost like if you were on a small island 120 miles off the western shore of Costa Rica, this is the foliage you would see.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
What?
That's La Isla Sorna, and Las Cinco Muertes is the 5 islands, of which Site A and Site B is La
whatever.
La Isla Nublar and La Isla Sorna.
Fine, and then
okay, but we didn't see this. We didn't see anything that happened.
No, we saw, everyone was mingling at cocktail hour, but then we had photos or I don't know what was happening. We were getting ready to be announced.
Yeah.
And so everybody was seated and they're at their table, and then the DJ starts making announcements, and then they allegedly, this is what we were told, everyone got interrupted by the drag queens, and these 2 massive drag queens that were amazing.
What do you mean massive? They're just big guys.
She was 7 feet tall.
Yeah, okay.
and so they come out and they interrupt the DJ and they MC. And that's what I wanted, because my bachelorette in 2020 of February was in LA at Hamburger Mary's, which is a drag bar, which is amazing. And they serve protein shakes there in case everybody wants to go. But anyway, I was like, oh my God, I need drag queens at my wedding. And that's how that came about, because they're so fun and entertaining. And when you plan a wedding for 2 years, at some point it became less and less about us and more about just wanting to have a big party with our friends. And I think that's where all the excitement and the entertainment came together.
That was my main motivation.
Yeah,
where
you didn't really.
Well, like I regardless of what we chose to do, like, look, the reality is like when I try and do something, like it's usually grand, and like I whether I actually receive these compliments or not is not important. But I want it to be like the EST of what you've ever did. Like I wanted people to walk out of there saying, this was the best wedding they've ever been to, or this is the most memorable thing. Like I wanted those types of comments. And
I think pretty much everybody said that.
Well, again, that it's not I just, even whether it was from the last, except I say the word, they're going to put that little thing on the bottom, but or whatever this was just like it would be what I would want to do for other people. Mm-hmm. And look, I'll say it now, and maybe I won't say much more, but like, for the people that chose to not come, like how hurtful that is, because when you try to put on a show like this, you want people to see it. Yeah. And for the reasons that some people, the cowardice and the absolute horseshit that people that told us, is not only that being very hurtful, that they're such a coward that they can't even say they just don't want to come. They would always blame it on the illness. They would blame it on something else, which is total, like, whatever. But it's like, I wanted people to feel whatever this was. Like, I wanted people to come and be like, oh my God, like this was.
Those who did felt that.
Yeah, yeah.
And they felt it. I mean, people are still talking about it.
Okay, well, we're still talking about it.
Well, the people demanded the recap.
Well,
they want to know what happened, because they saw all the photos, all like 600 and whatever, and they're like, wait, why is Don in a pink shirt? What happened? Why? And how about our dance? That took us how long to learn?
I don't remember. All right, so we had this. What was his name?
Sean Green.
Okay, so you can look him up. He's got something to do with the Miami Heat, which was not why we.
He's their choreographer.
I wonder if he is, but so he would come to the house and he would keep teaching us this dance, and the dance kept getting shorter and less complicated. And there would be things that I'm really good at, and then there'd be things that I sucked at and she was really good at. Yeah. that pulled it off.
And I'm like, all right, how does he like teach these kids that are like 8 on TikTok that freaking bang everything out in like 5 seconds? And I'm like, yo, how can I not do one move? I used to, at least it might have been the alcohol and drugs talking, but I used to think I was the best dancer ever. And now all of a sudden, like, I have 0 moves. And these kids on TikTok, like, are professionals. And, it took us 12 weeks to learn, like.
We didn't practice a ton in the beginning.
Not 30, like a minute.
We practiced a lot towards the end.
Yeah.
But even then, it was seemingly consistent. I mean, I think people probably had an idea that it was going to become crazy. But we did like a slow dance that would be like the whatever groom and whatever bride, like dance, and then it turned into craziness. But yeah.
It was so much fun though.
Yeah, that's.
And I changed dresses. I bought this like $20 dress from Windsor that I think it was on Poshmark, because my dress, if you guys see in the pictures, I was like, there's no way in hell I can do our dance in that dress. And I literally made that decision on the wedding day, because I was like, I got to put the dress on again and see how I can move. So literally in the bridal suite, we made the decision not to have a veil because it was covering my back, because I worked very hard on my back to get it jacked for the wedding, but also to change. And I brought like 2 white cocktail dresses and we ran up. I think the drag queens were there and I was like, whatever, like, just get into my other dress. And I was like, oh, I can move. And I was like, this was an expensive wedding dress. I need to change back into it. And everyone was happy that I changed back into it because it was beautiful and it was fun. And then.
I thought that was the plan.
No, I wasn't sure. Oh. But then we had the garter toss, which was the only formality that we did, because we didn't want to bore everybody with other formalities. And in the garter toss, we had various toys and things underneath my dress. One of them being the largest butt plug that you could ever see.
I didn't even know what it was.
And then he throws it across the room, and the drag queen comes. It was Lauren. She's like, I told you that you could borrow that, not keep it.
I didn't even remember hearing that.
It was great.
I didn't know what it was.
And
like this thing.
It was so big, like you probably wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
And then you found pink handcuffs and action fingers, a WWE belt, and some other stuff. And then we just danced the whole night, and it went by so fast, like everyone said it would. And I think like Dave Sabo was the one person I didn't see, but so did Jim Ferris. You didn't see him either. So were you there? You're in our photos.
Yes, he was.
But it was so much fun, and my Oura ring was wrecked for like 2 weeks, and it was totally worth it.
Yeah, it was. From what I hear, the food was very good, but I guess at weddings you wind up never really eating. But
we had a ribeye station. We had
never
a carved bacon station.
I didn't have it.
We had a mac and cheese station.
Had it.
Chicken tender station.
Had it.
Chicken wing station.
Didn't have it.
Taco station.
No clue.
Sushi.
I was all over it.
Ice cream.
Yes, that was it though. I remember seeing there was like ice cream Snickers bars like in the package, like the commercial.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was, hey, whatever.
Yes, sushi buffet, as Ed said.
And the sushi had a Mickey Mouse background to it.
Yes. And allegedly, they had arranged some of the food in a very phallic manner to cater to my love of phallic things.
I don't remember anything like that.
I don't remember it, but I was told that would happen. And then the hors d'oeuvres were normal. It was like one of the things my mom always did was spoons with tuna lobster with mango salsa and some guacamole. Everyone said the food was great.
I mean, it was a big room, and like you did not do the traditional going around to every table, but I kind of did.
Yes, I did.
Well, there were people you didn't even see.
Okay, it was a short night.
Well, whatever. But like,
why didn't you take your bride with you?
I was getting something to eat, and then I would just sit down at a table, and then I realized I should just keep doing this. But like seeing the pictures, there's obviously a lot of things I had no idea, was happening.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see, like people, enjoying themselves. Like that was and to know that you were, a big part of bringing it together. I don't want to say responsible, but that's what I wanted. That's I don't know whether that's right or not.
No, it everyone says, oh, it's your wedding day, it's about you,
No.
and then like
I didn't feel that way.
you and I think also, like, because we had planned it for so long, like I was saying, you just want to see all your friends, because we hadn't seen, it was like a Perform Better TPI reunion. We hadn't seen anybody in over
There was
a
a
year.
lot of, I know you always say that, but there was a lot of people that have nothing to do with Perform Better.
I understand that, but a big chunk of our family is Perform Better and TPI, and they hadn't seen each other in like 2 years or 3 years some. So it was kind of cool to have everyone and Perform Better at TPI, and then your high school friends, and then like my college friend, and then friends from other universes or whatever, all coming together, and everyone got along.
Yeah, that was cool. That's what on a much smaller scale, when we had the engagement party at Top Golf in Orlando, that I remember thinking that so at Top we had like the last 3 bays on whatever floor it was in Orlando. So it like went up to the wall so that there would be nobody interfering. And, and it was good that they did that, because there might have been 1 or 2 people there that people might recognize. So it was better that nobody would ever come over there, because we were up against the wall. If we had like the middle 3, people would be going back and forth. And I remember whether people, so you could golf on one level, then you have like at Top Golf, there's like these cool seating areas, and then we had all the food up at the top. And I remember like standing on what have been maybe call it west, the wall is east, just standing there and just watching, like, it was only like 40 people, 50 people, not even, like, I think 30 something. And it was like, wow, like nobody is sitting by themselves. No. Nobody is brooding. Nobody's playing on their phone. Everybody was either golfing or talking. And it was like what you're saying, like these universes, because I know I feel like this. I'm sure you do to some degree, but like you have like these circles of friends, and some of them have no idea the others exist. It's like this multiverse.
See them on Facebook or whatever.
And like, wow, like to bring these people together, it's very hard to put into words like what you really what did I really want people to see or feel. And obviously the motivation was to create, all this stuff. And I'm sure it could have been, if it was more money and more time to plan, it could have been even more wild in terms of the stuff that we, or at least I, really like. It could have been more characters. It could have been, louder music. It could have been, it could have been crazy. And that would be like, people would be like, yeah, like that's that.
They were.
That's like, I like somebody maybe would say like, I had no idea, but this is exactly what it would be. Like this is
No, everything was on point with us. I even included penis like keychains. Grab one over there.
I don't want to touch it.
Into the hotel welcome bags with a can of Bang and dark chocolate. And look at these little stress penises.
Here, I'll get it off your keys.
They had them on keychains. No, I'll open it. So it's really, you can't Google them as stress penis anymore because, of the world. You have to call them squishy ding-dings. Here's a squishy ding-ding. He's all squishy.
I can't believe this.
You could put like your finger in them.
Oh, God.
So they had like keychains, which actually I found those at Walmart. And you can put keychains. So I have them on one of my Jeep keys. But anyway.
But we had a lot of people do toasts or speaking. And,
oh, yeah. And it was like a professional speaking event.
Well, because
we had, we have friends who are professional speakers. So that was kind of like what we wanted the majority of the wedding to be, more so than like, I don't know. I don't even know what the formalities are that they have at normal weddings. But whatever.
I mean, I don't think, I put that away. I think all the people that were supposed to have a toast or a speech in a traditional wedding did have one.
Yeah.
The first one, because I don't have any older family, neither do you. So, whether some people do a prayer or something like that, and he's not, like, I don't know that Joe Rod was the oldest person in the room, but as a highly decorated Force Recon Marine who I met when I was at MARSOC, he fit what that talk would have been.
Yeah,
where
nice.
It's not that no one laughed. It was but as a very experienced speaker in his career after the Marine Corps, he had, like, that was serious. Like, that was it wasn't this 11 out of 10 nonsense. But so I think with the moments like that, like your vows, or even mine, there were still times that brought people back into the gravity of this event, which was people getting married. Like, this is a fairly serious thing.
My vows were from the heart. Yours were from a movie.
Yeah. But I did real vows too.
Yeah. Yes, Jacqueline, he did. But the best line that I was told was when I said, Charlie, even though we literally see eye to eye. And I thought of that all by myself.
I'm at least 2 inches taller than you.
No.
Okay.
Like 1.
I thought I think, look, I don't know who's listening now or who's going to watch this later. I don't really get, one of my buddies from high school, will let me have it, but I don't really get clobbered for my height. Like, I don't think people like dig on me.
No, people think you're like 5'6", 5'7".
But like, people don't bang on me for being
because
so short.
You're this wide.
And I've said before, like, as ridiculous as it is, I don't feel short. Now, when I see a picture of myself with professional athletes or even somebody who's super tall in the real world,
like Jacqueline's husband, Brent.
Yeah, like I don't. If I stand next to him, and Brent is at least 6'6", 6'7", which in the real world is about 9 feet tall. I'm talking, but like professional basketball players and NFL players, I don't feel short.
Yeah.
But I know obviously it's ridiculous how short I am. But when
no one gives you shit because you're short but jacked.
Okay, well, I'm probably not allowed to say that I'm jacked, so it's
I'm allowed to say I'm
that is like I'm not going to go through the whole story, but the Mike Dunleavy, and Mike Dunleavy is a legit 6'9". He did authorize that the reason I don't project as short is because of my build. But when Sam did his talk, and I was, oh my God, like, where, so Sam Gibbs, the mysterious, not on,
he will never watch this, probably.
Yeah, well, he will, because he lurks.
Yeah, that's right. I think he follows me.
Sam was the best man. His daughters were Allie's flower girls, and his son was my ring bearer, who was a secret agent because he got to be whatever he wanted to be.
Yeah.
And so he's a legit 6'5", 7-foot wingspan, documented. And like in Canada basketball, he would look like one of the players, even though he'd be medium to short, in the grand scheme of things. But he's like telling these stories, and I think he was saying like he wanted to show me something, and he puts his arm down like this to like drag me around because Sam is a legit foot taller than me, but it's so interesting.
That was right. He was like, and this would be Charlie walking around with me.
And then come on, let me show you. Let me show you.
Jacqueline says I have better traps.
Than who?
You.
I don't know about all that, but
Yeah, his are pretty.
But then towards the end, the speeches had to get short, which I don't. They could have made them longer. Like
Yeah, I didn't care.
yeah, but no, like, but I also think it's important. Like, don't override the planner. Like,
Yeah.
like what? Who the hell would we be? Or I'll speak for myself. Who would I be to override the planner? Like, it's not like they don't know what they're doing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't believe in telling the experts
Like, I asked him-
how to do their job.
I asked him for another hour at the end of the night, and he was like, "Yeah, it's like $3,000."
Yeah. No, but like, yeah, and that's why, even though the script wasn't 100% perfect, I'm like, you got to let people do their thing, because
Yeah.
if you keep trying to control it all, this isn't business. Like, in business, there's certainly a time for micromanagement, especially when you have a bad group of people. But in this case, everybody was into it, so just let them do their thing. Like, let them do their thing, and everything turned out.
It was a good time.
Everything turned out very, very,
Very happy with it.
very, very well. So it's, but we haven't gotten the cake yet.
No, that will be sent.
So when we get the letters, like, we can put them up on the wall, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have no idea how big they're going to be, because they were all the way like 12 feet in the air, 15 feet in the air.
We'll put it on the wall that we always claim we'd film against.
Instead of this
Blank.
wall. Yeah. But
Yay!
the cake is gonna, we're not gonna be able to eat it
Why?
because it's pro dough.
Why can't we eat it then?
Because you always say pro dough goes bad if you don't eat
They
it.
have it in the freezer,
All right.
and you're supposed to eat it in a year, right?
I don't know how any of that stuff works. What was on the cake? The cake had Incredible Hulk. It had a gorilla. It had dinosaurs.
Perform better.
And it
please.
had wheels. It had a Perform Better plates.
Yeah.
So.
Chandelier, yes, was the tall one. No, she was like 6'9" with no heels, right? And then
I think
with her heels like 7'5" or something. And then your mom was like BFFs with her, like dancing with her all night. I literally have like his mom sent us like 8 videos of her dancing with the drag queen, and then the photos, we have multiple photos.
I thought they were great.
Your
Yeah,
mom was great.
I'm very okay saying that I'm not intrigued by the entertainment of drag queens. That's not my jam. But they were brilliant. Like,
Yeah, they're hilarious.
And that being said, like, they were pros. Like, I think somebody from LA said that they had seen the smaller one at Hamburger Mary's.
Yeah.
So these are pros. Like, these are people that,
like, Jack was asking how did we come to have them. I had mentioned in the beginning, because I had my bachelorette at Hamburger Mary's in LA, and I was like, I need drag queens at the wedding. So I figured they would be great entertainment, especially for our crowd, because I am highly crass and perverted. We have a lot of friends that are not easily offended, so it was a fun time, you know?
Yeah, that's but how they were gonna. I'm looking to see if anybody has any other questions.
No.
And their role was put together, but because there was no reason for them to be there any longer. But like the gorilla and the dinosaur, they were getting paid by the hour. So there was no reason for them to be there any longer if they weren't going to be doing it.
No, but I wanted the drag queens to take over the MC.
No, but that made perfect sense,
because
the gorilla and the dinosaur were in the reception while people were finding their seats.
Yes.
So we didn't see any of this, but you saw some pictures, and then they were chased out by the drag
queens. Yeah.
Yeah, which just was probably this surreal thing. It's like, like after the, because
we have documentation of Michael Ranfone's face when they entered the room.
Yeah, see, like, we didn't see any of that, but that's that was something else. And again, like, I had no idea drag queens were going to be in this, but like Scarlett was like, if you do one thing, it'll open you up to do other things.
Yeah.
So like when people saw that even from the very first song, like my song that I came out to was the Muppets wedding song from Muppets Take Manhattan. And people were like, and this is like my idea, but I was just, kind of going by what I was kind of coached a little bit. And it's like, okay, so people like Charlie's coming out to a Muppets song. Well, it's a wedding song, so it kind of makes sense. And they're like, oh, okay, like that's Charlie. Like he wants to be silly. He's going to do something. But then that opens you up to the next one, and then the next one. So if people were into, like, if everything went off the way it was supposed to go off at the ceremony, then drag queens showing up is like, duh, of course. Like, what?
Duh.
Yeah, and like it would, because if everything was, I mean, it was never going to be traditional, but if it wasn't as wild and like completely zany and unexpected, then the drag queens wouldn't have worked as well, because they'd be like, why am I seeing drag queens versus, oh, like a drag queen, a 7-foot drag queen is chasing a velociraptor out of this reception hall that, oh, okay. Like,
Pretty sure that's never happened.
Oh, make perfect sense.
So I had a conversation with the drag queens beforehand because they wanted to understand our audience. And I remember they're asking, like, can they say certain words like cock and pussy and stuff like that? And I was like, yes, have at it. You must. And who they could make fun of and the jokes that they could drop, because all our friends, we all live in a world of, like, the 90s where nobody gets offended by anything. So it was so much fun to actually go back to the world that we once knew, like 2 years ago.
Whatever. I'm not saying
no, because it's true. And so they had some great jokes. They escorted everybody who spoke up and like made a joke about that.
Yeah, they were really,
like,
no, I mean,
it was brilliant.
Whether they were drag queens or not, they were incredibly talented and had significant control of the room and the schedule, and it just and I think that's just important for an event. Like, if you're the MC or whether it's a DJ or something, like they made it all. They made a lot of the things happen, and they're just funny. Because now, in my study of comedy, drag queens would fall under the category of cheap comedy, meaning it's like so taboo and weird that you're kind of humiliated into laughing. Sexual comedy is cheap. He said penis. Like, you're like you're humiliated into laughing.
No, you say boner.
But they were.
But by the way,
they were just really. And then they sang.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
my God.
I thought the taller one did some kind of like. Was it like
she sings
70s? It was like a disco song.
Lauren does opera.
Yeah, like I thought I was like I thought you were gonna break into the Step Brothers song, and she said that you're supposed to say she, right? Like they like she knew she's tried it, but she can't do it. Like,
can I just point out you've been playing with the squishy ding ding.
Yeah, it's squishy
the whole time.
Like,
okay, on that note. Thank you for joining in.
That was the Step Brothers opera song.
Oh, see, I don't know. I don't know movie quotes. I'm so bad at that. But you know what? You're married to me.
Yeah, even though we were married like a year and a half.
Yeah, we've been married like almost 2 years. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed tonight, and we're highly entertained. We know Coach Ed McKay was.
Well, I'm thankful for everybody that came. And no.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you, Ed, and everyone else who tuned in. I don't know who stayed on. It's so hard to tell.
Well, there's only
3 people now. Hey, I love you.
Love you too.